Welcome to Flip Your Chips. Let's go!
Hey, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. All right, so welcome to Flip Your Chips podcast. Here's not just about the ROI in dollars, but also the ROI in life. Achieving one without the other is like a half-flipped coin. We're here to bridge the gap, offering tips, tools, and resources in finance and entertainment. Let's flip those chips and make every investment count. How you doing today, sis?
I'm feeling drippy. I'm feeling fluid. I'm feeling...
Oh, yeah.
I'm feeling...
Okay.
You know how we go.
Okay.
This episode of Flip Your Chips is
okay.
That's how
You're a little thirsty.
Yeah. It's Thirsty Thursday. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you drink your water. But I'm great, sis. It's day 19 of Ramadan. The next 10 days are about to be very intense, but pushing my connection to Allah. Celebrated Nana's birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you, man. I had a great day. I'm excited about today. How about you?
I'm blessed, man. I couldn't complain at all. Like, I'm happy. I'm loving where we're headed and just excited, honestly. Every day is a great day.
Yeah, yesterday was full of laughs, yo. If y'all haven't, go back and watch Survival Mode. The last podcast from last week, what we did was we did an episode called The Blueprint. It's a little bit different. So if y'all haven't, if you want a really good laugh and you want to see us not taking ourselves seriously, having a good time, please go check out The Blueprint. Yeah, that was, I can't stop laughing at it. I cry every time.
Yeah. Every time, man. Y'all just got to go see it. For sure. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the Tikoon tips. What are the tips for the week?
So the Tikoon tips for this week, I wrote it down. I spoke from the heart, obviously, but just a lot of different ideas was coming to me. So it's a plethora of things in one. But I would start by saying, define who you are and be clear and meditate on that. The most powerful thing that you can say is I am. And whatever comes after that defines who you are. So don't let anybody put their own definition of who you are. So if you say I'm powerful, if you say I'm wealthy, you have to be very clear when you say I am. You can say I'm tired. You can say I'm stressed. So understand that the words have power to manifest in your life and become your reality. And that's why it's important when you say I am, whether I say I am Muslim, whether I say I'm plant-based, whether I say I'm an African-American woman, define who you are and don't let anybody make you feel bad about define who you are and don't allow anyone to make you feel bad about being who you are, being apologetically yourself, and don't allow anyone to place their limits and expectations on who they think you are and who you should be. Master your energy.
That's a journey. Ooh, that's a journey. Like mastering your energy. Because sometimes you don't even understand. You ever been like why am I feeling like this? Or why am I? Right? And so we're constantly evolving and changing. And the more that we master who we are, the faster and the more efficient we become at basically improving ourselves as our own individuals, and the better we'll be able to define who we are, like you said. So that's a great tip.
Then we live in a society that want to say you're mean, you're like, my mom always said, and I'm pretty sure you heard this as a young lady, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. I think words hurt you when you think that there's some truth in it. Can't nobody tell me I'm ugly. I'm so sexy. Like, there's no way you can tell me I'm ugly. Like, can't nobody tell me I'm broke. I'm wealthy. You feel me? Can't nobody tell me I'm mean. I'm nice. And I think that when it hits, it's like you gotta really identify, like, is that your truth? Like, can't nobody tell you who you are. It's like the other day I told somebody that I'm doing Ramadan and they were like, you're not Muslim. And I just found myself defending it. And I'm just like, but if I said I was plant-based, you wouldn't call me pescatarian. If I said I was black, you wouldn't call me white. But why, when I say I'm Muslim, you tell me I'm not? I'm not here to tell anybody what they're not. So as I'm climbing this journey of success and the things, I'm already successful, but just more influence and social responsibility, like, you have to, like Kyrie said, Irvin has said in an interview, why would you let anybody's opinion of you dictate how you move and how you carry yourself throughout your day? To know thyself be true. As a man thinketh, so is he. So
now, come on now. And they dealing with their own garbage, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you had the right attitude with that, because people's opinion has nothing to do with you. You know what I mean? So,
yes. Thank you, thank you. That was really like deep today. Like that's just all my praying and just
Yeah.
that was fluid. That I feel like a yogi, like a guru. But yeah, let's get into these flip your
Exactly.
chips tips, sis. What you
Yeah.
got for us today?
Honestly, like just pay attention to detail, right? And learn how to implement a high level of patience. It's so easy to get caught up in being anxious when you're trading.
Mhm.
Because you can look up and you made a couple $1,000s in 2 minutes, couple $100 in 2 minutes, and you're like, oh, I want to do that again. So it's almost like you're chasing a drug or something like that, honestly. So you have to be able to have that self-discipline to like really be patient and let it come to you. Don't force the situation, because at the end of the day, the market is going to do what it's going to do. You know what I mean? So just don't rush. Just let it come to you, because it's literally endless opportunity. So you don't have to jump to conclusions or anything like that. That's how you make mistakes. So
You know what I love about when you put your chips tips for perspectives on people that are trading, right? And I want to make this clear too. I think the last episode I told you guys that I was gonna start trading every day, and then doing Ramadan, I realized I like to under promise and over deliver, and I got so excited that I was like, these last 10 days of Ramadan, I'm not even gonna put myself under that pressure. But I decided to make a commitment, because when I hear what you're saying, I want to be able to be a blueprint or an example of someone that's taking the Blue Chips Academy course. So I figured, because we film every Thursday, why don't I film Thursday mornings? I mean, not film, practice with you. So that's what my commitment is going to be moving forward until I can have it daily. But something you said about letting it come to you, it's like, okay, if you don't trade right now, you don't understand what that means from a trading perspective. If I take a personal perspective, it's like we don't chase, we attract. We're magnetic, right? And I was just telling you something on the phone before we got on about a certain situation, that it's like I'm not chasing anything. Like I'm attracting everything, and what you can't just think about what you said. You got to think about what you think, because you are what you think. You attract exactly who you are. So it's like the things that I want to come to me. I like, when you try hard is when you die hard. Kanye always says that, and it's like I don't know if it works in retrospect to trading the same way. Like if I know that I'm trying to get something, am I gonna chase her? Like it's chasing her, she may run away. But what can I do to attract, and like what that looks like? Because like when you let something come to you, obviously you have to do the work with daily trading in order to make it happen. But I wonder, is there a way of, how do you let it come to you if you constantly practice? Like, how do you know if it's like, because all I can compare is what I said to you off the line. Like, I'm trying to compare something practically to people. Like, how do you attract something without chasing it, but you're chasing knowledge of the skill of getting better? Does that make sense?
Yes, I believe so. So I guess from it's like, how do you practice, but also like be patient enough to let it come from you? Like, how do you actively be patient? I guess that's
like I'm pursuing it, but how do I let it come to me? It's like, you think if I practice basketball every day, I'm going to get a scholarship, but it's like, well, if I practice, how do I let the scholarship come to me?
Right. I think like just off the example that you mentioned with basketball, you develop a certain skill set, when you're young, but as you get older, you have to understand the game and circumstances. And so when it's at the end of the game and you're up and the team has to foul you to stop the clock, you understand the circumstances, so you just put yourself in position and let that situation come to you, versus you doing whatever and losing the ball and turning over, and now the team has an opportunity to win.
So you can get
What'd you say?
So for example, so instead of like, so chasing would be, we need to score, we trying to win the game.
You already up. You don't need to, you just have to be smart now. You have to control the possession and let them come to you, because now the ball is in your court. You see what I'm saying? Literally, right. So in that case, you let that come to you. So now you are in a position where they have to foul you, and you get an opportunity to score at your own will. versus like with trading, the market is constantly moving, right? And so when you see certain setups, the M's or the W's, you wait until you see that it has come to full fruition before you enter the trade, versus just impulsively jumping in, not clearly seeing certain structures in the market.
You know what that's like before we move to the next topic? You know how like if you're doing warm-ups or like you getting in the game, a coach might say work inside out. So you get, I mean, unless you Steph Curry, like, and you just are not missing any contested shots, you get on the court and the first shot you want to, unless you wide open, why is you shooting that three? I remember my coach used to always say, you always want to attack the paint because one or two things going to happen. Either you're going to score or you're going to. Yeah, but if you shoot the three, you don't know if it's going to be contested or not. So it's like working inside out that's the basketball perspective of like the M's and W's, like, you know, so.
And it's all, even like from a defensive perspective, right? So if I'm guarding somebody and I'm like, oh, their left hand is weak. So now I'm waiting till they go to their left hand. And then that's when my opportunity comes for me to try to steal the ball.
You know, every time we do this podcast, we talk about basketball, and I was gonna text you the other day and said I'm about to start training again. J. Cole, before he dropped his last album, put himself through basketball drills. I watch basketball drills every day, like how to get your left hand stronger, like in and out. And I was like, I'm literally about to just go buy a ball. They got a basketball gym at the masjid I go to, and I'm just like, basketball is my first love, and I feel like there's something about, let's just work on your ball handling, and like, can you catch a ball, throw the tennis ball? Like, it's something about that practice that I'm hoping translates to my just practically, because I feel like when we talk basketball, it's like, so like even the way Kyrie dribbles, he has his offhand is always defending. Kyrie will slap your hand while he's dribbling if you like. He plays defense and offense at the same time. And he's ambidextrous. Like I'm gonna say this last thing. When he went to a Catholic school and they knew he was left-handed and forced him to work on his right hand. So he was like, that's the best thing they could have ever did to me, because he for writing for school, but it turned out to be, that's why he hit that left-handed game-winning Ramadan shot. That was sick. My Muslim brother.
Big facts. Yeah, so you know, like seriously, and that's what I love about basketball, is because it teaches you discipline, and you have to repeat certain behaviors until it becomes muscle memory. And so when you apply that concept to everything else that you want to be successful in life, it's no longer a feeling, it's a thought. So you master your thoughts, you master your results. So yeah.
Today was gonna be fire. This one of them episodes.
So before we dive deep into that, let's just go ahead and go to the mogul move.
I put a little 2-in-1. It's real light. I'm gonna first start off with Diddy. I know this is.
I feel like I'm watching a movie, bro.
Yeah, it's getting crazy. It's I'm gonna keep it light. If any of you guys have seen, you know, we not messy over here, but his houses were raided in Miami and Los Angeles recently. Sending love and light and prayer to his family. I don't wish, you know, any type of negativity on anybody, but I do pray all parties that are involved or that were affected are held accountable, and for anybody that was hurt in the process. Trafficking, any of that is terrible, and he has kids as well. But on a business tip, because he's been in such a dark light right now, but that's a negative, double negative, but in a dark shadow. Diddy sells off all Revolt TV. Diddy sells off all Revolt TV shares to anonymous buyer. Diddy is no longer associated with Revolt TV in any capacity. The company he founded in 2013 is now completely under new ownership. Sources familiar with the deal says that Diddy sold it for an undisclosed amount, but it still remains Black owned. As a person that helped launch Revolt TV, I did with Kenny Burns back in 2013. I helped get it on a lot of television networks. It is and he's a Howard alum. It's a little different for us, yo. He got his doctorate and all of that, so I have something, because I don't want to keep it dark, like that's why I said I have another mogul moves, just so it's not like negative. But before I move to the next one, I wanted to know how you felt about Diddy selling the company. I guess he's flipping his chips.
Technically, yes. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Okay, all right. You flip your scripts. Okay, we're gonna go on to the next mogul move.
Yeah.
Rihanna is expanding her global beauty empire further across the world with a Fenty Beauty expansion into China. The makeup and skincare market in China is worth $80 billion. Now, with expansion into skincare and into China, Rihanna's $1.4 billion net worth is likely to see tremendous growth within the next year. So shout out to Riri.
Shout out. Have you been in one of her stores, the Fenty stores? Have you been in one of them?
I haven't been, but I know about the products.
Yeah.
I had on some Fenty boxers and some Fenty pajama pants in my music video.
Okay, you like it? You like it?
That was a little gift. Shout out to her. Thank you for the
Okay. All right.
You know, yeah. Well, that's all I really got. But I just love how she's like. When I read that, I was like, the first thing I thought about is as a tycoon, I am so excited about that aspect of business. Like, I love music, but I love I'm like, what is Taz Tycoon gonna do? Like, it just, as a Black woman, it just inspired me to be like, what? China? Billies?
That is sick. Yeah, and China, they got that Skrilla over there for real.
Yeah, we need to. I'm ready for these international. I can't wait to flip your chips when we're traveling and doing podcasts. We have something we've been talking about coming up, but shout out to Riri, the whole Fenty team.
That's what's up. Yeah, because I actually went to one of her stores one time. It's like a whole little vibe in there. It doesn't feel like you're just walking into a store. Yeah,
like the Apple Store type of vibe. Like, it's like an ambiance and experience.
Yeah, the ambiance. Everything. It just feels like it kind of feels like you walking into like a fashion museum. That's what it feels like.
Fashion
music, but it's like low key, like a little, like the music and the, I don't know. I can't really explain. I feel like I'm in a lounge / museum / party. Like it's a nice.
Where is it in DC? Like, where'd you go?
It was at Annapolis Mall.
Okay.
Yeah, Annapolis Mall. That's where I saw that. Yeah.
I've never been. I gotta check it out. I'll be in Sephora and stuff like that where they sell Fenty. But yeah, shout out to Riri. She going crazy.
It was a vibe.
Okay, well, speaking of, Tycoon Rich, you know what I'm saying? Let's talk about this Tycoon Rich segment. I love this segment. You love cool moves. I love Tycoon Rich.
Yeah, so this week was actually really good. We finished with 34.17% and gains this week. So
wait, hold up. Are you usually I'm still learning. Wait, what does that mean? Like usually you'd be like 2.5 is what you try to do for the day. Is that, am I tripping? Are you saying that 32% more than what you, oh wow.
So same concept, just a higher risk.
What?
So I increased my daily risk to so now the goal is to hit anywhere between 5 to 10% a day.
Okay, well, question. All right, we talk about working your way to the free throw. Tell me the money psychology, trading psychology behind why you decided to scale from 2.5 to 5 to 10.
So this is why tracking is so important. So I recently opened up a free setup channel. So anybody wants to follow that, they can definitely do that. I try to be as transparent as possible to share the trades that I take every morning. And so after tracking that, I noticed okay, if I would have did these same numbers but increased my risk percentage, I would have made this versus that. So the numbers were consistent. I was hitting 3 out of 4 or 2 out of 3 or 4 out of 6 or whatever. So the numbers were there. It was just a lower risk rate. So when I increased that, it increased my overall return, if that makes any sense.
Didn't we have an episode called Risk versus Reward? Let me go back through. Hold on.
Yeah, we ain't do that yet.
Okay. All right. We need to. Yeah. Are we? Okay. Right. Listen.
Yeah. So last week was like around 15%, and because I increased it, this week it's around 34%. So it basically almost doubled, basically a little bit over double what I had last week.
So question, when that happens, are you doing mental checks? What is it that do you go in before and be like, this is what I want to attract? How, are you trying to manifest it, or do you just look at the charts and you're like, I'm trying to hit 30 today? What makes you choose the number or your approach for that day? Where's your mindset? I know you said
I think it comes down to we mentioned before, betting on yourself, right? So imagine where we make a bet, right? And you know, I don't like to use gambling or betting on that when it comes to trading, but I just want to use this as an example.
Mhm.
And you say, well, I bet you $10 that you can't make 4 out of 6 free throw shots. And I'm like, all right, let's go to 20.
Mm.
So I hit my 4 out of 6. Guess what? I made more money because I'm confident that I can hit those shots. So I increased my risk percentage because I'm confident that I can win those trades.
Let me tell y'all something. Last week we all got things going on in our lives, and we had some off the air conversations, and you was like, well, what are you scared about? And I'm just like, I'm not really scared. I'm just like in survival mode, and I'm trying to be responsible, right? And when I finally did something that was a low risk in a sense to myself, it's like, it feels like with every day that we speak, the risks just keep getting just like, I texted you yesterday and was like, we need to pay for this. We need to put the bread here. And we need to do this. Like I don't, and me getting over that fear had me wanting to not gamble, but take another calculated risk on making money. It's like, I bet on myself last week. I'm ready to bet on us. And I haven't even thought about where the money's going to come from, how I'm going to do it. But it's like, once I did, like you said, within reason, you don't want to get overzealous and hungry. But I don't know if you could tell, like, once I did that last week, what we talked about, I think there was 2 things I said I needed to do, and I did it. And I was like, oh, okay, it's gone. It's out there. Because sometimes you be like, I want to make more money, but you spending money on bottles in the club. You spending money on clothes and shoes. I'm not investing in anything outside of myself. You know, so I feel confident in doing it. But have you, as a money psychologist, trading person that has students, from just because I know I haven't been practicing, do you see a difference? Even when I texted you yesterday, it was like, we need to pay for this. When you gonna be ready? Now I'm over here trying to hit you to do some things that you've been pushing me to do. Do you see a difference that we could kind of ambiguously speak about with you observing me and my confidence? Because I took a risk last week. You took a risk, and we both are like, you know, like, if that,
I definitely, I definitely see a difference for sure. You've been taking a lot of leaps of faith lately. And I honestly think that that's contingent upon exactly your spiritual walk. And that's just amazing. Like, the more you connect, the less you're afraid, because you're now replacing that fear with faith. You know what I mean? And so I always say, like, you can't receive more if you don't learn how to let go. So it's like a fist, right? If I want to receive something, I got to open up and I got to let go, whatever it is, so I can receive more. You see what I'm saying? But if I'm always closed in and I'm like, nah, I got to hold on to this, you know, you're not going to receive anything. You know what I mean? So I just want to say I'm proud of you for that too, by the way. But yeah, like, I'm excited because now I talked to the students last week. They have their goals in mind of what they want to accomplish. Some want to earn a certain amount to pay off their construction workers for their real estate project. Another student, he's in college. He wants to save a certain amount for while he's in college. And I have another lady, she wants to go to Africa in a couple of months, and she wants to save up for that. So I'm just loving that this is putting people in position and getting their mind focused on what they ultimately want to do, so they can become tycoons.
I like that.
So I'm excited about that. And another thing too, with you taking a leap, your account is up like around 20%. You don't even know it yet. You haven't, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I care. I care. I don't want to, because
but I'm just saying that's the whole process of, like, making your money work for you. You know what I'm saying? Putting yourself in position. You didn't work for that, but it worked for you.
You know, for one, I'm proud of you, and shout out to you and the person that's ready to go to Africa. I hope you go to Tanzania and then go to India. I did that. A friend a student that's in college, all of your students. And I'll tell you this, because it's like, the only reason that I don't have the same experiences, but like I said, like, and I pray that we could start on Thursdays. I told you, I think that the best thing for me to do is if we can get on and I start trading before our podcast. I sent to you 2 days. I don't know if you got my text. I'll be blowing you up all day, but I know you'd be busy. But I had text you and said, yo, how much more money can I put in? I hit you randomly. It was like, if I'm trying to get this, like, not that it's like a specific miracle dollar amount, but I don't know if you had responded, but did you, like, I had texted you and was like, because I started to, after that one risk I took, like, it was small, I was like looking at how can I, like, just like let's say you got $500 and you're like, okay, I know I got this bill that's 500, but do I put 100 here, 100? How can you, bill collectors, the bill's gonna be there. So I've been trying to figure out right now, and I'm not a financial advisor, but my approach is I look at all my bills and I'm like, can I push this back? Can I set up a payment arrangement? Because I'd rather put, like, and literally that's what I'm doing right now, because I got to make that other investment we talked about today. And then I got to pay a bill. So I would say, if there's a way, if this is my personal thing that I'm doing, if you could push a bill back or set up a payment arrangement to invest in yourself, that's the only way that I could figure out for it to make sense. I ain't telling y'all to go in debt and get eviction notices. That's how I've been able to, balance myself. Have you ever heard anybody suggest or do anything like that?
So my first rule is never risk anything you can't afford to lose.
Yeah.
You have to personally consult with yourself what you're willing to lose.
Yeah. No,
I can't even speak past that, because, and the reason why I say that is because for me, if I gotta do this to do that to get this, then I'm gonna do it. You see what I'm saying? But some people, they're like a little bit more stringent on that. They're not risk averse, you know what I mean? So it's a little different for them. So it just really comes down to your personal goals and what you're okay with. Always have the end in mind. What is my worst case scenario? If this doesn't work out, if I lose everything, am I okay with that?
That's why, when you pick the amount that you're willing to put in, like when I'm like, okay, I can afford to lose this if this doesn't go the right way. But in order for me to make that investment, I made a sacrifice on the bill. I'm like, y'all not gonna cut my lights off. I'm not gonna turn my phone off. But I'm not out here just being irresponsible, y'all. But I'm like you said, like, we can make excuses or we can find a way. And it's do you not drink matcha? Like, just take an audit of everything you're spending your money on. And if it's $50, because I got one last question before we move to the next segment. What's the lowest amount people can put in to get started with Blue Chips Academy?
To start their trading account?
Yeah.
$10.
Okay, so just going back to my point, can you afford to risk $10? Can you afford to risk $150? Whatever the case may be. And it's like, that to me was like, oh, for real? Just start there. Like, if you can't sacrifice a bill, just start there. And so I put my money where my mouth is. She said my chips are flipping, y'all. They're doing something, and I'm excited to learn and get started too. So
yeah, so we're gonna get it done. So yes, I'm excited about that and what's gonna happen in the near future. But let's get into the flip. The flip is always just like, it's always on point and at the right time. And I think what's really important, what resonates with not only you and I, but everybody, is perseverance. And when you think of perseverance, it's like, okay, pushing through, to get to the other side. But let's dig a little deeper with that. When we talk about perseverance, when am I supposed to continue to push through? And when am I supposed to just call it quits? What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, we can go so many ways with this. I'll speak to
and why is it necessary to reach the next level?
Oh, okay. I was gonna say before I go there, I just want to say shout out to Tidewater again. We have we got some big things coming with Tidewater. Like, in the next 10 minutes, I'm gonna I want to share some news that I got with you. That I just got a notification. So in 10 minutes, I gotta tell you something about Tidewater. Forgive me, though. We're gonna persevere. That was smooth, right? Okay, I'll give you a couple of examples. In yoga, I love yoga. Rest is shavasana. That's the last pose in yoga.
Okay.
You go through all these different poses and these stretches, and it's interesting how when you do yoga, depending on the instructor, sometimes they'll let you do shavasana for 1 minute. They'll let you do it for 10 minutes or whatever. But the importance of shavasana is to incorporate rest. I've been going hard like these last 19 days of Ramadan, barely sleeping, getting up early and praying. And today, through my perseverance that I pushed through, after I made my Fajr prayer, I slept in. I woke up, I prayed, and I went back to sleep. Because I was like, I need to listen to my body, because the last time I kept pushing through, I crashed my car and I almost died in 2022. And I think in persevering, you gotta really get to know your temple, understand your body. I think I would say that would be the first foundation. We are not robots, we're not machines, we're human beings. And if you don't understand your body, or you're putting vices in it like drugs or weed or whatever the case may be, you're altering your perception of what you actually feel like you can do. And I realized that sobriety has been, not that I'm an alcoholic or a smoker like that, but sobriety is so attractive to me, and it keeps me sharper. And I think I would say first is evaluate your rest, evaluate what you're putting into your body, because I'm doing a lot of this off of no food, and I'm still persevering, I'm still pushing through. And I think you'll get to a point where your body is going to tell you when you can't go anymore. As women, we can create life. Our bodies are incredible, the things that we can do. But persevering, I think you can't really. I've seen people work their butts off, and they're falling asleep while they're driving, and they don't have the energy. And I would say, from a health and just a well-being perspective, is just really pay attention to your body. I think that's gonna be the real barometer of if you're gonna persevere and keep pushing through, or if you're gonna stop. I would stop. I would start there for perseverance. But what do you think about that, as far as what your body says when you're trying to persevere? Because I know you're being tired. Like,
yeah. I think, like you said, you definitely have to listen to your body when you're persevering, because you can't continue to persevere if your body doesn't have the strength or energy to keep going on and keep pushing through. You know what I mean? So having those breaks in between is very necessary. And then when you think about like tapping into new levels for your personal growth, or business, whatever it is, you just gotta keep going. Like, it's easier said than done, because there are those days where you just don't feel like doing it, and I get that, you know what I mean? But you have to do it, because I always say this, like, God can't provide if you don't do the work, and the work is pushing through, even when you don't see the results or things don't go as planned, right? And we're gonna talk about that too, right? But you still got to have that faith that, like, this is the work that I need to do until you've exhausted all your options. And now it's like, okay, cool, I know that I did everything that I could to make this happen, and it just didn't work out, and that's okay. But when you know that there's still options for you to still try to make it work, then you keep doing it and you keep going. So yeah, let's talk about when we think about the perseverance though, like in retrospect of like planning, like you executing your plan, like pushing through and sticking to your plan. What does that look like for you, and what does that mean to you?
As we were talking about it, I wanted to look up the actual dictionary definition of perseverance. It says persistence in doing something despite difficulty or delay in achieving success. And because I wanted to, because I think first when you're trying to answer a question, it's like someone asks you to bring me home some Dove. If someone comes back home with a box of chocolate and or a bottle of body soap, neither one of them are wrong. So I think first find what perseverance is. Do people even know? So I think I wanted to make sure that, like, I knew, but like, it sounds not contradicting, but it's like pushing through despite the difficulty.
Yeah.
Someone could say rest because you're tired. And then another breath, someone could say it's 24 hours in a day. Look at Michael Jackson, look at Beyonce.
Yep.
So it's like, how do you balance needing the rest? And I think the morning, I'm not gonna hold you. It's like going to bed early and waking up late and cutting off all distractions, cutting off people, vices, and things. Ramadan and Islam has taught me the importance. I get up every day around 5 something to pray for Fajr. But this past week, I just told you I had to start getting up at 4 because I don't have enough time to do what I'm trying to do in a day.
Yeah.
It's like most success. I love 4 a.m. I love like 4 a.m. up until like 7 because ain't nobody up.
Yeah. It's a peaceful moment. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And by the time it's like The Walking Dead come out around 8 a.m. You know, season allows you to do that, and putting things to keep you active. This whole week, every day that I think I've got about 4 to 5 hours of sleep, but I'm like, how bad do you want success? How bad do you want to change your life? I'm like, this is a temporary sacrifice for me. If I got to wake up at 4 a.m. for the rest of 2024, that might be it. 2024, 4 a.m. That's what I want.
They say you sleep when you die, huh?
Yeah. Like closer to death when you do that. So I think it's just about identifying what that is and making those sacrifices. No, I cannot hang out. No, I don't want to kick it. Like, stop calling my phone.
And you know, like, the perseverance is connected to like executing a plan, right? And so a lot of times, you know, we'll have this, I'll call it an idea, right, that we have in our mind, but it's really God's plan, right? So plans never go as planned. And you ever notice that? Like, when you make it up a plan, something happens and it's just like, okay, it was never yours in the beginning. You know what I mean? And so the more that you understand that, it's more of a walk of faith than it is perseverance. Like when you really look at it, you know what I mean? Because you're letting him guide your footsteps. And so instead of it being more so you pushing through, it's more of you walking in the light and walking in your purpose and walking in the direction that he wants to guide you. So,
you know, I'll say this before we cut to our commercial break. I'll say that perseverance, I think that's I love how you worded it. You know, you may have your plan, but we're on God's time. I think that giving yourself room for contingencies, like it's traffic. Like I thought that I was going to be done at this time, or I thought I was going to shoot my music video now, and I thought my album was going to be dropping now. I watched the Beyonce documentary, and at the highest level, I hear them say, I was not able to drop my album when I wanted. And I'm like, you got all that money and you still couldn't drop your album on time? That shows you that the divine force is so much greater than what it is that you have planned. Beyonce was arguing, like, upset in her latest documentary. Like, what do you mean that we don't have the fisheye lens? I'm looking at her like, if Beyonce is going through that and she got way more money than me, then I gotta be open-minded, which is why you and I can have such huge dreams. Sometimes I think that we can become so fixated on it, but I would just say be open-minded in your perseverance and don't be so hard on yourself if things don't go your way, and just understand that, just have a backup plan, you know, for you to persevere.
So let's talk about that after the commercial. Let's talk about pivoting and how to make those adjustments.
Okay, we'll be right back. Shout out to Tidewater. Get you some. Stay hydrated.
Lego.
Welcome back to Flip Your Chips. This episode is brought to you in part by Tidewater. We had to handle some big business, you know what I'm saying? You know, if you're flipping your chips and you're eating chips while you're watching this, make sure you have something drip to go with the chip.
That's right.
But we were speaking about pivoting, you know, how we just had to actually pivot during our episode to handle some business. It's important when you're trying to persevere to be open-minded to the changes that may come. I put it to you like this. Like, you may be like, this is the direction I'm going. And then you get on the freeway and it's traffic. What's your GPS gonna do? It's gonna take you another route. Why are we so open to the GPS, Google Maps, Waze, giving us a different direction, but we not open-minded to switching directions? Like, it's not always going to be the freeway. Sometimes it's going to be the back way. It's going to be the highway. It's going to be a plane, a train, an automobile. There's so many ways to get to one destination. If you open your map right now, I could tell you a million ways to get to the East Coast. But we so fixated on it has to be this way. And I'm like, I feel like you can learn a lot about pivoting in traffic. Like, you might be in the left lane and niggas is driving slow. Are you
Yeah.
going to stay in that left lane and keep driving slow? Or are you going to get over in the right lane and get around them? And I think that when you're trying to persevere, it's just important to be open-minded. Like, and I know as the Capricorn that you are, as the visionary that you are, that I know you can get a little tight sometimes when things don't go where you want. But how are you pivoting right now in your life? Like, is that something that you feel like you're doing well, that you need to improve on, or do you see in hindsight how important it is to learn how to pivot?
I think I've gotten a lot better, but still got a long way to go. It's like you said, I can kind of get fixated on this is the plan, and by any means necessary, we sticking to this plan. You feel me? And it's like you want to stick to the plan because you want a certain type of result. That doesn't mean that you can't get the result doing it a different way. You just, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, I see it more relevant, especially with trading too. Like, when the market isn't going a certain way, you have to be able to pivot. You can't get so fixated on this is what it's, what I'm seeing. No, you got to be able to make that change on the fly. And then on a personal standpoint, I like to plan out the things that I want to accomplish. And sometimes when they don't go as planned, I'm like, all right, well, until we figure out how to get this plan executed, we'll just pause it or, delay it or whatever the case is. And it's like, no, how can we be innovative? How can we think of different ways to still get to that destination? And with you being so stubborn on this plan, you're not being receptive of what God is trying to show you. Because that's your plan. That's your idea. This is his plan. So I gotta keep that in the front part of my mind at all times so I can continue to just kind of let go,
When you say that, I think it makes me think that you got to look at perseverance holistically. So it's like, okay, I want to be a great basketball player, but if all you did was work on your jump shot, you are not going to be a good basketball player. You got to work on your dribbling, your defense. And I think that without giving away too many of the amazing things that we have going on, I could think about it as an artist, right? I could be like, I'm ready to drop my album. The album's not ready to drop. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go focus on press. Okay, press not working, I'm going to go focus on merch. Merch not working, I'm gonna work on performances. Performances not working, I'm gonna do songwriting. Songwriting not working, I'm gonna work on vocal lessons. There is something, if you don't know the whole picture of what you're trying to do and you get stuck in that lane, it could be us. It could be, we wanted to start doing this, and then it was like, well, let's do this. And I think that you can write down, if you really want to persevere, write down all of the things that you need to do. Because even with what we've been trying to do, we literally, during our commercial break, we were talking about, oh, we could do this. We thought that what we were about to do, we was going to do out here, but we talking about, oh, let's do it out there. And that's the prime example, which is why the other day when I text you, I'm like, sis, let's focus on this right now. Because at least if you have something to work towards, you won't feel stagnant. That's the frustrating thing. Why isn't this working? Yeah. Okay, go get you some merch. Now you're not worried about the album because you got the merch. And then now when the album ready, the merch ready. And now, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's the key to perseverance for real.
No, that's spot on. That's spot on for sure. And so when you constantly keep a new target in mind, because at the end of the day, the destination is the destination, but those targets lead to that destination. So it might not be this one, it's this one. You know what I mean? Like you were just mentioning. So those are some great points, and I just highly encourage anybody that's dealing with perseverance. Like, if you know that you haven't given your all, keep going, and be okay with change, be okay with adjustments. You're going to get there. Just keep going. And if you feel like you've put your all into it, that's okay too, because you didn't leave empty handed. You left with lessons, and those lessons are going to lead you to your next path. So
look, that was spoken like a true money psychologist. Let me say this for all of the basketball players, because we talk a lot about basketball and we talk about pivoting. Speaking of pivoting, I don't know if you saw Anthony Edwards. He was pivoting.
Yeah, he put him in a trick bag, put him in a blender.
You saw, he was pivot. That was a pivot. You see, he was like,
I'm gonna do like 3 or 4 times.
And then that dude went for the fake. That's a pivot. If you watch the NBA All-Star game, think about it as an athlete. Go around the 3-point shot line. You want to hit the side. You want to hit the top of the key. That's a pivot. That's like, if you only know how to hit the jump shot from the left corner, like some people be like, this is my pocket. That should just be your pocket. because if you get an open shot at the top of the key and you can't hit the game-winning shot, it's not going to work. So for everybody that's, former athletes or still athletes, no more hooping, but we still balling. Money keep calling. Money keep balling. Put your balling. You dig?
Facts.
Yes, but no, this is we're persevering. We're actually a living testimony of this. We started Ancestors back in 08 together, and it's 2024 right now. And I think right now, Flip Your Chips is a testimony to perseverance, because when we stopped doing the clothing line, it wasn't because we couldn't. We was killing at a very young age, but we was like, let's pivot, let's figure it out. And that's why Flip Your Chips is moving away. We just celebrated our 2-month anniversary, and it feels like we've been doing this podcast for so much longer. So it's like that longevity, and I'm just so happy to be reunited with you, and I'm happy that we persevered, because I always would text you and be like, I don't know what we're gonna do again, but when we do it, it's gonna be incredible. And Flip Your Chips is a testimony of perseverance, so y'all can keep pushing too. Stretch, get your rest, make sacrifices, get up early. And when you want to be great, you're gonna have to sacrifice people, time, vices, and things like that. But you're the only thing that's stopping you from greatness, so make sure you go to bluechipsacademy.com if you want to be greater. You know what I'm saying? If you want to flip your chips, use the promo code Flip Your Chips, because
that's right.
How much you up again? What was the Tikoon Rich segment? How much is
34.17% for the week?
Yeah, so look, if you're trying to buy time, go over to bluechipsacademy.com.
yeah, man, that's what it is.
This episode was brought to you in part by Tide Water. Make sure you get that, and we got some major announcements coming soon. Check out our last few episodes. Make sure y'all check out the Blueprint Survival Mode. Like, subscribe, turn on your post notifications, and stay tuned. Oh, in your personal channel, tell them the channel again, because they need to stay in tune.
Yes.
Copy trading.
Follow at Blue Chips Academy on YouTube, okay? At Blue Chips Academy. You'll get all the information. I have a trading psychology series where I really go into full detail. And you can basically keep tabs on live trading. Like, we don't just talk about it. We're transparent. We show everything that we're doing. So tap in.
My chips.
Hey.
I'll get it rich.
Running up digits.
I'm only flipping.
Hey, let's take a trip. Hey.
Standing on business.
Tikoon Rich. Hey.
All right, peace, y'all.
All right, peace.